I remember at 12 years old, I was at home watching Dustin Hoffman's movie Little Big Man come on the TV. I saw the soldiers killing old people, young people, children, women of the village. Just terrible, sadistic slaughter of people. There's worse things that happen that they didn't even put on film. These aren't things that were taught in school. I pieced it together over the years in my teens. A couple hundred years ago, my tribe was driven out of the Northeast to Wisconsin. My grandparents and great-grandparents at 4 years old were taken 1,000 miles away to a mission school, brainwashed and stripped of their culture and abused. And it becomes such a terrible ripple effect.
It's intergenerational trauma. It's trauma that something that happens to your ancestors and it trickles down those generations to affect those of us who are still living today.
In my late 20s, I remember sitting in my apartment. I was lost. Felt like I was missing something. I needed help. I had my own pain that I hadn't acknowledged. I didn't know who to talk to, who I could believe. Just threw my hands up and said, okay, Creator, whatever it is I'm supposed to do, please show me. I am in your hands. Show me, and I'll try to see the signs that you reveal to me. It didn't happen overnight. My wife got pregnant, and I felt called to move back to the reservation for my kids. I followed the signs, going to sweat lodges, certain feasts, and receiving simple, deep teachings that made so much sense to me.
Well, we call that the red rope.
Then in 2004, the Albany Museum had some bones of our ancestors to repatriate back to the tribe. I came out with my mentor and our drum group, and before even stepping off the bus in Albany, I remember this feeling. Coming on the highway and like these two mountains that kind of like just opened up and this whole valley opened up. It was happiness, and gratitude, and I wasn't sure if that was from me, that was from our people, that was from the ancestors. They didn't have to even tell me that I knew that we were in our homelands. It was almost like the rising sun. Everybody was just so quiet. We're just in awe, looking out across the land, knowing that this was the place where our people's God-given lands were for tens of thousands of years. Everywhere I went, on the land and in the woods, I could swear there were ancestors happily looking at me behind the trees. It was amazing. There was a big shift. After that, we started making more and more contacts from people who wanted to know more about us and our history. The good, the bad, the ugly, all of it.
Imagine right now people showed up with guns outside, and we said, you have to leave this festival, go. They harmed some of us. A week later, they said, you have to leave here right away, you have 24 hours to go. You can only take with you what you can carry. And you have to go very far, 1,000 miles from here. And you died there 1,000 miles from here. And then 11 generations later, your great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandson came back to this land to share teachings that were sacred to you when you lived here.
Being around so many white people who cared was an alien feeling to me, but it felt great.
Hello there.
The governor of Pittsfield gave us the key to the city and welcomed our people back. We sang songs in the governor's office, in churches, in places we were never allowed to before. It filled my heart with hope. This bigger shift really started a little earlier with the prophesized white buffalo calf being born in Janesville, Wisconsin.
Since 1994, almost every year, a white buffalo calf stood upon the earth.
Our people thought that there was hope.
1 in 10 million.
People came from all over the world to see it at the Hyder family farm. I actually knew their son. We have to work together. The rivers are poisoned, the lands are poisoned, even much of the air has been poisoned. It's not our fault that happened in the past, but it's our responsibility now. It's in our hands. The Hopi prophecy talks about people coming together of many different colors and working together to save the earth.
Many people are now coming together. Some of you are looking for this thing.
We're in that time. The whole network just kept getting bigger. 4 or 5 years ago, I met Lev and Alliance for a Viable Future, and I attended my first Indigenous Peoples Day in the area.
We have representatives from 15 tribal nations coming together as one to focus on a viable future for our children and for the future generations to come.
So many people came out to welcome my people back home. There were so many tears of joy and sadness of the history. We're all family. You can trace the genetics of all humans, animals, plants, and even fungus to the same origins. We all sprout from the same tree of life.
I'm inviting you to look down into your own family lineage. You go back far enough, you're gonna find indigenous people. Not just my people, with genocide and such, but you go back into the European people. Native American, European, African, Asian, who are victims of genocide. Take people's language, take their religion away and force them into new ways and make them forget who they were. We all come from a people at one time were very close to the earth. We had a connection. We weren't separate beings, we were actually one. The things that we need, the plants and the animals, that which we eat, we become. To understand that, because so many people these days have lost that connection.
We can all sit in a room and say, okay, point a direction where you think your ancestors come. And we can point in all kinds of different directions. But if we take a trip up to the moon, and we say, okay, now point where your ancestors come from. We all point to the same spot, and that's this Earth. It's Mother Earth. And it'll tell you that we're all family. We're all indigenous to Earth. That means we are family, and we need to work together. What we do to the Earth, we do to ourselves. So we are in that time, a real special time right now to where we can either make it or break it. That saying is that a person who plants a tree, knowing that they'll never be able to swing from its branches or eat its fruits, that person knows what life's all about. It's because it's about the future. So we have a decision. We all have a choice. What are we going to do? And what we do today, we leave behind for the next 7 generations and beyond. I invite you to walk this path with us. Become an ally with us for the Alliance for a Viable Future. We can heal the past, change the present, and ensure the future.